Damn, I went too long in this
One
video.
second.
Gonna have to trim this bitch back a little bit.
Okay.
He's gonna bring us salt.
Okay. Okay. Cool. That works. Thanks. Sorry about that, man.
All right.
Brian says, because they're working to get you into the course,
by the time you're done. Fine.
then they extort you
No worries. No worries.
liabilities and premiums to line their pockets.
Stuff.
They cannot serve
But yeah,
two
back to it.
masters.
If you actually listen to the Sergeant Nichols call, and they talk about moving the signage, they talk about moving the turnaround, they have to do it all right next to the CDC. And the reason why they have to do it right there at the CDC is that everything is an open campus and federally sponsored by your tax money, right? Which binds the college to the very principles and foundations of both
Brian Johnson, 100%
Colorado
spot on,
state
dude.
Constitution and also the United States Constitution. And lucky for me, when it comes to Colorado, we have pretty much adopted almost all of U.S. Code 18, right? So that whole like 18, 241, 242, all that stuff. We have actually established that here in Colorado almost as efficiently as the U.S. Constitution has. Now, mind you, if you actually look at Colorado's Constitution as a whole, it's actually a big fumbling mess. I mean, there's so much to it to where things have been changed and played with to where it's not very clear on the Constitution for Colorado. But that's when we just defer right back to the federal standards, right? So, I mean, states have all their rights to, set up their state the way they want to. But at the end of the day, they are still forced to abide by the federal.
Federal, yep. Same as the marijuana laws that are passed, they're still bound by federal to some degree, even though it passed.
Yeah, no, and that's why, you remember when marijuana first passed, they actually would come in to the shops that were selling and they would shut them down.
Yep.
I mean, the FBI and or the DEA or whoever else was involved, because there's multiple agencies involved with these raids, would go in, seize all the cash, seize all the weed, charge these dudes with just ridiculous charges for possession of marijuana because of the amounts that they had in shop for retail. And that was when it was medical. That's before we went rec. And you can actually go through and see that they kind of did it in a biased way because they would raid certain shops but leave other shops alone for whatever reason. Which I found extremely interesting, right? Because now we're getting back to the 14th Amendment. You can't have selective prosecution. You cannot have selective enforcement. You know what I mean? Because when you... it creates... Good.
All right, let's see the chat here. Brian Johnson made a couple points, and I'm going to read it
prosecute people
as is. Chunk the judge, Shelham treason is punishable by death. 18 U.S. Code S 2381. Whoever owing an allegiance to the United States levies war against them or hears to their enemies,
there's a word for it.
giving them aid and comfort within the United States or elsewhere is guilty by treason and shall suffer death, or shall be in prison not less than 5 years or fine under the title, but not less than $10,000.
That is wrong.
And shall be incapable of holding any office under the United States. 5B3 said they had an invested interest in the ones left alone. Avalon said yes, they target certain retailers.
Defend went up there and went to go, take the same trip I took down memory lane. You know what I mean? Right after it happened. And he seen the sign that said private property, so he stopped. He drove all the way over to the precinct, right there on campus, and had a conversation with them where they were like, well, there's a little bit of confusion. Like, we're going to have a review, like all this stuff that they're talking about.
But we can't admit that we messed up. Now we got to move signs. We got to move roads.
Yeah, but before that even happened, though, before the signage moved, or before the review took place, before they'd made any decisions around anything, the interesting part is they told the Fen that they weren't going to interfere with him taking his service dog down that road because it is a public road, right? And he was on some, you cannot stop me and my service dog from going down this road. They were okay with taking away my constitutional rights, but they were not prepared or willing to violate his ADA rights.
Oh boy.
Right? They were afraid of messing with his service dog, right? And or the functions of the training of his service dog on that public road, because they knew that it wasn't just going to be a court date and the rest of that. You play with people's ADA rights, you have an entire organization.
You're playing with their disability at that point.
Yep.
You've done over the line.
Yeah, but it's not over the line to abuse the dude that just wants to go out and take pictures of an open campus that he's getting ready, right? Mind you, I have, at that point in time, it was like 3 months I had been signed up for continued education, right? So I literally signed up. All I would have to have done is chosen which program that I was ready to enter, paid the fee, and I was in. So when I go out there to do my investigation of the CDC, right, and I start looking at the things that are available.
Brian Johnson says, honor your oath
campus,
or suffer the only choice
right?
we are left with.
Campus, the CSU.
It's called Bird. It's called discriminatory enforcement of, and can win a case by it, and I have done so. If they're going to charge you with the case, not charge someone with the same case, like defend, and they chose not to because of the dog or for whatever reason.
Officer discretion, right? Officer discretion. Like, if we don't like you, we can take away your rights. If we're too scared of the consequences, we can just let you do what you want. That's not policing.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know where to go with it from there, to be honest.
I think you're going to win your case. I think you should do some discriminatory enforcement of law thing. Maybe,
I think it's going to take a while, but I know he has to win it out.
I think if you sent, if Defend went down there on his own, he did his own thing, and then they decided not to, that's discriminatory enforcement of law. Therefore, they either have to charge him or not. Hopefully I'm touching on something. Hopefully I'm helping on something. And maybe you can speak that into your lawyer and say, I think it's discriminatory, or at some point when the time is appropriate, you know what? I'm really feeling like this is
Brian Johnson also said, for which we create, we control.
You know what I just said. Discriminatory enforcement of law, or I think I said it wrong, but you know what I'm getting at.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think that the interesting part, dude, is that there's a lot of arguments there. My lawyer kind of listed as,
Brian also said it would be
I think for my lawyer, like, he's gonna argue
you a check
semantics
and
today,
dismiss
but
all
what it
charges.
breaks down to is that the judge isn't going to give a fuck about the ambiguities, even though the sign no longer exists. He's probably going to be like, well, officers were acting within what they thought was the law, and he's going to ignore the fact that I had expressed to that department for the last 3 months that what they were doing was illegal and they couldn't continue. So for them to use the excuse that they didn't know that they were illegally privatizing a road is bullshit. They had been told several times. They chose to ignore it, right? And that's the quinky thing. And I think that once all this criminal shit's done, that's where I win huge in the civil suit, is that I taught them for fucking, a quarter of a year on what the laws were and the fact that they were breaking the law, and they were fully aware when they did it the second time because it was the same sergeant, right, involved with the first situation. If he didn't take the time by that point to look at the geographical information survey, which I referred to him to during the event several times, right, I was cracking on them dudes, telling them that they're a piece of shit because they're not looking. You're not in that geographical information survey. You have to look at it.
Your cell service is getting
Avalon
bad.
says the legal sign posting was the law.
I noticed.
Okay, Brian says
if we want to,
he don't stop. The facts you were harmed by armament and costume.
They have to take into account that they don't investigate. Cops don't investigate for some reason. That's what pissed me off the most. at the tow company. That's exactly why I was mad, Bird. I will admit that now.
That's the problem, though. It's their responsibility.
If you know that I was not trespassing, how are you trying to trespass me? I walked out the first time they told me. I don't understand. I left.
It's not remaining if you left. Yeah, exactly. Right? Like, good luck getting remaining if he left when he was told to.
It's not my case. That's what pissed me off the most is you're going against my constitutional rights, and I'm sick of it because you pass it off like you're not, but you are passively.
I was told during the first event, FTP, by the female officer, right? I was told by her that I was free to leave. And then I literally started backing up, and then I stopped, and she says, "You need to go." And I'm like, "Hold on, you just told me I was free to leave. Can I have a second? Can I have a little bubble here?" And then by the time I got that spit out of my mouth, dude's over her shoulder yelling, "We're charging you with trespass." Like, hold on, I was just told I was free to leave. If I was free to leave, I was free to stay.
So because they point their finger at you, just like they were going to do to that girl yesterday on my last video, that cop had his handcuffs out. He was going to put him on her. And then I started yelling. Somebody in the chat was like, yell at him. When I started yelling at the officer, he stopped. He took a step. And all of a sudden, he's like, can I do this? Am I right to do this? It felt wrong to him. That's the point. They're no better than us. They have no special privileges. And how the fuck do you know she's on anything? You don't. I could be standing out there.
Oh, Brian said, felony. If
you violate my rights.
If it is not brought to light, he remains in the dark.
Side of the road and act like a hippie and see what you're gonna do. That's the problem with assuming that people are all on something. Okay, we see what happens when you do things like that. People get very hurt. Who called her in? That's what I want to know. From yesterday.
Well, you know the deal. Like, most of the people that are watching our channels, dude, are just fucking rooting for us to get tased. They're like, no one gives a fuck about American freedoms or the restrictions of American freedoms at this point. All they give a fuck is the entertainment behind it and whether or not me, you, or the next guy gets fucking tased at the ground.
But if it was you on them drugs, wouldn't you want someone to come up to you and give you a hug or be nice to you or say, hey man, give me a couple bucks? Or can I give you a ride, that cop? For a while?
No, not. But I'm weird, dude. I'm weird.
That's the same guy that was on 41st Street, I believe, and that's the same guy that violated my rights on 41st Street. Now he's out there trying to do it to her. Come on, guys. I mean,
yeah, I'm not really into like a whole lot of public affection. If you see me high on drugs somewhere, please do not come up and hug me. But if anyone out there ever needs a free massage, all you have to do is walk up to a cop smelling like weed, and I guarantee you that he'll at least pat you down.
Yeah, there's your free massage right there. Oh yeah, I was here. Grow my butt cheek. Oh, that feels good. Hey, would you grow my nutsack, man? Oh, damn. Officer, that feels great when you handle my junk like that.
And how quick that I can spit things out now.
That's a growth. That's a free growth and massage.
It does make it safer.
But the arm is a fucking law.
And whether you like her or not, or the way she was acting, that's none of our business. She is a free woman. And she's going through some shit, and she's sitting there on the sidewalk crying. But please don't count her down and out. They can succeed outside of jail, and she doesn't need $1,000 bail amount. There's nothing.
Totally.
For her.
Well, you know what? She dude, didn't she say she was in Colorado?
Brian says Russia and the U.S. Your rights are not self-execution.
Oh, okay. Well, I was gonna say, dude, like, if you guys are worried about it, just come to Colorado. They decriminalize.
They care whether
mushrooms.
They care when they are held accountable and they have a lot to live for. Smell is no longer means a researcher's search.
I ate more than you.
I ate more mushrooms than you.
You guys, man, have fun going to court, dude. I'm gonna let you go. Sounds like you're getting body.
Yeah.
Dude, tell
Brian says,
yeah, I'm in the
what if
car
your
and
job
shit.
was to trim buzz naked?
FTP says, what's up? He loves you.
What's up?
You tell
Yeah, man. Well, I guess I will. In the meantime, I'm gonna go get me some dome so I can start drama like Andrew. And yeah, I was saying, have a great day, man.